unsettling? It's the size exercise.
Well, I think for me, what's unsettling is the squeak it makes. Because it sounds like you're like stepping on like a clown,
But
like
see,
a sad clown.
But see, like when I'm thinking of walking, I'm not thinking like you're kind of like doing a little twist, like you're walking down a catwalk, dude. You're like, yeah,
No,
you're not just like waving your, just like walking. You're like, well, you can tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man.
All right, fine. No treadmill. Scott will just go get out of shape and die.
Yeah, get a bad
That's
heart
all I've been asking for your entire life.
the entire time.
That's it. That's all I've been wanting.
Hey everybody, this is the Triple B podcast, Gamecast. I can't even talk. Triple B Gamecast. That's the hip way of saying it. Bud's Bustin' Balls Gamecast. We've got Celiac Matt, or just Matt, and
Hi.
we've got TBD on the name. But right now we got Scott, who will be getting a capture card here soon. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
he can stream his Saturn.
I'm gonna be mailing it to him.
Really quick before we get into our topic, I think I told you this in the chat, Scott, but I had a dream the other night that I don't know what happened, but I was searching through my closet and I found my Sega Saturn with all my games, and I
That's rad.
freaked out. I was like, I thought I gave it away. Did I have it this whole time? And I just remembered wrong, and I was so stoked, and I was like getting ready to set it up, and then I woke up and I was so sad. I was like, oh no. So you got to
What you
play.
didn't realize is you actually found it, but then I attacked you from behind and knocked you out, and then dragged your unconscious body onto your bed, and you thought it was all a dream.
It's like Sonny. It's like, just knock him out. He won't remember it. He'll have amnesia.
All I'm hearing is Dream Mike is kind of a dick to real Mike. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, he is. And he is to my wife too. She always wakes up and she's angry with me. And I'm like, okay, what did I do now? What did Dream Mike do now that I have to pay for?
Man,
Dream Scott is always dying, falling off random shit and all that. I wonder if he's trying to tell me something.
Or maybe he's just the unibrow Ed from Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Oh my gosh, that's an image I haven't thought about in a very, very long time, and now I'm even more uncomfortable.
Isn't it weird that one of the characters in that was named Double D? It's just like I don't know.
Bro, I never even thought about that until you just said that, and now I'm just like, what? What?
Yep, we watched that not too long ago, and I was like, with my kids, I was like, oh my gosh, this show, we got to watch it, because I remember I really liked it. And then like as we're watching it, and just some of the stuff that they talk about, I'm like, this is not how I remember this show.
And if you really think about it, like, what's Ed's deal? I think we all kind of know what Ed's deal is, and it's like, man, that's pretty freaking offensive. But yeah, that was the Wild West of children animation back then.
That was Cartoon Network, wasn't it?
Early
Yes.
Cartoon Network, when they did the cartoons.
Oof.
I think we could all agree that Courage the Cowardly Dog was the pinnacle of Cartoon Network.
I enjoyed it,
but I would probably say the pinnacle for me was probably Dexter's Laboratory.
I was literally about to say, like, and the original, because they had a weird animation change at some point. But the first half of Dexter's Lab was choice.
It was like when Doug went from Nickelodeon to Disney, and it was like, I don't know about this anymore.
Doug was a jam.
Mm-hmm.
I dig Doug.
Can we all agree though? Can we all agree that Johnny Bravo is the man?
Oh, mama.
Yeah,
Johnny Bravo. See, that's a show that when I watched as a kid, I was like, this is dumb. And then when I watched it as an adult, I was like, the whole time just doing the stoner laugh. The whole time. It was great.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of nostalgia, you know what we're talking about today, Mike?
Yeah, so possibly two topics, but I won't reveal the second one. So we're going to talk about, we're talking about nostalgia, and we're talking about all these old cartoons that, to be completely honest, people listening to this or watching this, if they even are, probably have no idea what we're talking about, which makes me feel old. So today's topic is, when is the first time that you guys felt old playing a game? And describe that. and the feelings that you had. I probably know the feelings, but that's the topic today. So who wants to go first?
I'll go first, and maybe we'll do a rotation because I have 2 games that come to mind for me.
Okay.
I have 2. The first one is relatively new to you, at least playing it, Mike. It's freaking Fortnite. I know. I'm
You're
sorry.
stealing mine, man. Ooh, that's okay. I have like a different experience. So
perfect. Yeah. So no, Fortnite is what makes me feel the most old as far as gaming. Like I remember just playing. I finally sat down one day just to play it. I actually got the game before it was a battle royale. It was that whole save the universe, save the world bit, and I got it for free. Someone said like, "Hey, I got 2 like early access beta or whatever. Do you want it?" I'm like, "Sure." And it was fine. It was essentially like a sort of mini tower defense type deal. You kind of build up your fort, you get your materials, and there are traps and things. If you ever played like Orcs Must Die, it was kind of similar to that, but more like open concept. You run around collecting stuff. And that's what I played. I'm like, okay, cool. And when the Battle Royale dropped, I just didn't care. And then it just blew up. And the connotation that got affiliated with Fortnite so quickly was their weird dances and just elementary school kids and middle school kids doing those dances. So I was actually watching this. I'm like, that's a game I played, but now it's played by children. What are these weird dances? I hate this. And this is before TikTok was really a thing. I'm just like, I hate this. Why is everyone dancing on the internet? This is not a video game. And I just got so angry. And then I stopped with him like, oh man, I'm an old man now. I'm an old gamer dude. I got angry at kids enjoying a video game. Why? I just got so mad. And then eventually I actually started playing the game maybe about 6 months ago, mainly because a lot of my followers on Twitch were into it and they got me to finally sit down and play it. So I played it. I was like, oh my gosh, this is actually kind of fun. I had a blast with it, with all the characters and stuff. But then I just see all these characters and stuff like, oh, so-and-so's in the game. And I'm just like, who? This person's in the game. What? And I'm like, I don't know any of these characters. I see all the funny dances.
You don't know the kid Leroy?
I don't know any of them. I have to ask every time I stream, like, all right, is this a Fortnite or a thing? Is this a Fortnite original or is this a thing that I just don't know? I never know anymore. But that's when I really, really felt old, is when I got angry at all the kids like playing this free to play game, doing the dances. I remember when I had the house before because we have a condo right now, so no one rings my door, which is awesome. But when I had a house during Halloween, kids were showing up all the time. The amount of the amount of Fortnite dances I just saw these kids doing in the middle of the street. Like I would open my window because I lived in like a pretty like compact complex. There's just all these kids everywhere ringing the doorbells. I just see all these kids doing these little Fortnite dances. I'm just like one of these kids is literally on my lawn. I'm like, this kid's on my lawn dancing. Get out of here.
You literally were saying, get off my lawn.
I was thinking to myself, like, this kid needs to get off my lawn with his Fortnite dances. That is when I really, really felt like an old man playing games. Mike, I'm curious if yours is similar or different.
Yeah, so since it's Fortnite, we'll go clockwise tonight. So mine was less, I mean, I kind of felt that way. So I actually tried Fortnite when it was a battle royale, but it was before recently when I've actually gotten into it now and I actually really like it. And I tried it and I was like, not my thing. And then recently in streaming, people convinced me to do it. And I threw something out that I didn't think it would happen. And then they were like, yeah, everybody show up. And I was like, oh, great. Okay. So they showed up and I decided to play. So I had already had it loaded because good guy Mike saying, I'm going to stay true to my deal. And we started to play. And they're like, okay, squad up. And 3 other people jumped in. And Matt, you may have been one of the people.
I was.
Yeah, but the other 2 are very, very into it. And if you're listening to this or watching this, you know who you are. You know who you are. This isn't a bad thing. This is a me thing. And so I knew the basics. You're in a bus, you jump out, kill the rest of the other people or avoid them, okay? I got the concept. I know the concept. I had played before. They started talking gibberish. Absolute gibberish to my mind. They're like, "Oh no, you gotta get the slap, and then you gotta run over here." And I'm like, "The hell are you talking about?" they're like, just Bauer, just follow us. Okay, I understand that. And I can't tell you if I won that night, if I lost that night. I played that game for 2 hours. That first time, I cannot tell you what happened because there were colors everywhere. There were llamas everywhere. They were telling me stuff and talking to each other. And then look at 60, 60. We got somebody over there. And what the hell is 60? Where am I looking? 180? Am I behind? Like what how do I know? 2 hours of my life disappeared. Legitimately, just to history. I don't know what happened. I was so overwhelmed and I felt like my dad when I was like, "Oh, you got to play Super Mario World, and this is how you do this, and you jump on Yoshi, and you go like." I now can understand what my dad felt like, and I did not like that feeling at all, at all. I felt lost.
You know what's funny is during that night, like they were saying all this gibberish because I went through the same thing as you when I started playing with them. They're saying this stuff. I'm like, what is that? Tell me. And like I was watching your stream, your feed, and I saw your eyes just kind of glaze over. And I'm like, oh, I know that feeling. I know exactly what that man is talking about. I think I sent you a message after the fact. I'm like, Mike, you're overwhelmed. I know. Please just give it another go. Trust me. And eventually you did power through it. But I empathized hard with that. Like as you were explaining it, I'm like, oh, yep.
It was like a alcohol and an AA meeting, and then you knew what I was going through. I was the newbie, and you were like, "It's okay. Follow the 12 steps, Mike. It's okay.
Yes. Follow the children."
Yes, just it's okay. Just don't pay attention. Don't think. Just listen to what they're saying. They know what they're doing. And now I get it. Now they talk that gibberish. So like I really want Scott to try this game so I can watch him freak out. I want to see if he does it. I want to see his face. I have to see his face.
So we should do it sometime on a Wednesday. When we record these podcasts, we'll do a game and it will be a live stream.
This is how it works. If we get 100 subscribers by the end of next week, Scott will play Fortnite and stream it. See, that's obviously not going to happen. So,
well, let's do okay. Before we move on to your topic, then I would like to do this because then I can start spreading this around and get yeah. So, what's a goal? Like, we can't do like by next week, right? Because we're recording these a month ahead of schedule right now, right? What would be a good metric for you to get you to play Fortnite with us? Because you can play it on your Xbox, your PlayStation, your PC, your Switch.
Your phone.
Can you play on the phone?
Yes.
That sounds terrible.
Don't do it.
That does sound terrible. Just pretend like that doesn't exist.
But all those other
ones you can play on, and it's all crossplay. It's not like the kind of crossplay that we get when I jump on my PC and Overwatch 2.
All right, when do you estimate this will be coming out? When will peoples out there be listening to
roughly a month. So as of recording this, by the way, the very first Triple B GameCast will be airing less than a week from today. So that's exciting. I'm so excited for it to share our ball busting with the world.
All right, how about this? 100 subscribers, June 1st.
100 subscribers, June 1st? Okay.
To get old man Scott to play Fortnite. See, I'd be curious. I think that's a fun metric. I think we should be a bit more realistic and say 50. But what I want to hear is Scott explain to us why he doesn't want to even try it, even though both Mike and I previously were adamantly against playing it, played it, and realized, dang, this is fun. Scott.
You know why? Because I hate you, Zoomers. I hate everything about you. I hit and then final episode of Triple B, we were canceled. We lost all subscribers. I don't hate you. I just don't understand you. And I guess the big difference between me, Mike, and Matt is they're trying to do outreach. They're trying to go and connect with you. Me, I have fully settled into my old man ways, and I am unrepentant. I think a good example is going to a Van Halen concert with my dad. Yes, that's also a very boomer band. I acknowledge that. I was like, this is boomer music. This is like 80s guy music, and I really don't want to be here, but I love my dad, and I'm just going to go and make it so he's not embarrassed and he'll find himself at Van Halen concert. At first, he was really into it, and then he started looking around the crowd. And I was literally the youngest person in that entire crowd, and I was like 25 at the time. And my dad just was really, really bothered, saying, "Why is there no young people here? Why is it all a bunch of old guys? Van Halen's still cool, right, Scott?" And I was like, "Yeah, Dad, Van Halen's still cool."
Oh my god!
Now I am my dad, and I am living in my denial right now. It's like, hey guys, Resident Evil's still cool, right? Borderlands is still cool. Mass Effect is still cool, right? And no, the kids have moved on to their Minecrafts and their Fortnites and whatnot. But yes, that is why I am a closed-minded old boomer now.
Yeah, you can tell he's closed-minded because he doesn't realize that the Minecraft demographic is actually quite old.
It's
like,
us.
You think it's
Minecraft is like us and a little bit younger than us.
Popular Minecraft channels out there are people our age and older. I'd say even older.
Really?
Minecraft is like,
I know a lot of younger people who play Minecraft, so that's very interesting.
I mean,
hey, my kids play Minecraft too. My kids play Minecraft too.
Minecraft at some point.
Mm-hmm.
So Scott's issue is not with, the game itself, which is fun. It's because he cannot be affiliated with the youth. He's mouthing, "I hate you." For those that are listening
only,
he is mouthing that he hates you.
And he's looking, imagine just his bearded face staring you down and saying it too. So that's what he's doing.
I think that Fortnite makes me feel old. It makes you feel old, Mike, and giant Scott mouth that's in front of us. Even though because you refuse to play it, I would say Fortnite makes you feel old as well. Would I be correct in that assessment?
I guess so. I guess it is. I was going to say that my example isn't even Fortnite related, but you know what? Well played, sir. Touche. I guess it is.
Got him. All right, 100 subscribers by June 1st, apparently. Spread the word.
Oh, man.
By the way, I know several people that would make like multiple YouTube accounts specifically to do something like that.
Yes.
I don't condone it. I don't condone it, but they would.
Stretch goal. We get to 1 million, and I will get Fortnite tattooed to my butt. Just throwing that out there.
Oh, my gosh. I think that's going to be it. Let's get 1 million subscribers.
Do we have a limit on that? Do we have a time limit on that one?
Yes, June 1st.
Oh, okay. So that one is not going to happen. Okay, got it.
You never know. You never know.
If it happens, we should live stream it. Bud's busting. No, oh my gosh, it was
no joke, man.
Scott's butt get busted by a needle.
Bud's busting balls. And butts.
If we get to 1 million subscribers, we will get together somewhere to get like a universal, maybe Vegas, right? Maybe Vegas would be a good place for that. Mm-hmm. And I will take my phone or whatever equipment I need, and we will all go there. I'll ask the tattoo artist, like, "Are you okay being on camera?" I'll make sure I get the upper part of you while they're tattooing it on your ass, so that way we don't break Twitch or YouTube, regulations.
Next level. 1,000,001 subscribers. I will get Fortnite tattooed onto my butt while I'm playing Fortnite on a phone.
Gosh. I would love this so very much.
I have never wanted subscribers as bad as I do right now. And it's not just to have subscribers. I want to see this happen.
A part of Scott is legitimately thinking like, hang on, could we do this? Oh no, have I made a mistake? Like I see the way his head's kind of wobbling. He's like, yeah, I'm making jokes. But wait, could it happen?
Have I gone too far?
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to use every social media outlet that I have. And I'm going to be really frank and just say, this dude will get something ridiculous tattooed on his butt cheek. All you have to do is push the subscribe. You don't have to watch any of my videos.
Uh-oh.
Just push that button.
Oh, now we're getting into dangerous territory. I don't know.
You made it. You said it. It's recorded. I did stop recording, and I will upload this.
That is, in the court of law, that is ironclad contract right there.
Let's go.
That being said, Scott, what makes you feel
So I'm actually going to go in the opposite direction. You guys have been talking about the Zoomer games that are making you feel old. I am at the point where it's actually my Boomer games that are making me feel old. There is nothing that really, really kind of snaps me out of like my denial of how old I've become than playing an anniversary edition of a game. And I think the big one that started was Mass Effect Legendary Edition, which Zoomers, do yourself a favor, play the Boomer space soap opera game. And I want to say Legendary Edition came out in 2021. And at the time, they were making a big deal of like, oh yeah, it is the 14th anniversary since Mass Effect 1 came out. And I kind of called the bullshit on that one. I'm like, nah, bro, Mass Effect's a pretty recent game. Sure enough, it is 2007 when Mass Effect 1 came out. I imagine a lot of you listening to this podcast right now weren't even born in 2007. And then going down the rabbit hole, there is a game that is about ready to come out for us right now. When you hear this, this will be in the future, and you'll discover that the remake of it is
what you're gonna say.
colossal failure. Resident Evil 4. My biggest beef hearing about the Resident Evil 4 remake was thinking Resident Evil is still a good game. It's not dated at all. It's not an old game. Still looks great. Still plays great. Why remake it? That's like if you go and remake, I don't know, whatever Zoomer movies you guys watch nowadays. Remake Avatar. There we go. But here's the thing. Resident Evil 4, 2005. Resident Evil 4 can vote. That terrifies me, much like you guys being able to vote now. And yet it's like, all right, well, Resident Evil 4, a couple years away from being able to drink, able to vote. Resident Evil 4 is an old game. I am an old man. I am into playing these old games. Some ones that like are even further blowing my mind. One of the biggest video game events for me growing up, something that like you guys, how everybody you know plays Fortnite. When I was young, the game was Pokemon. When Pokemon Red version came out, Blue version, the first two versions in America, it was huge. Everybody played them. All the kids would play it. That game is 27 years old now. Oh, that is insane to think for me. Something that I was playing as a little kid.
That one just cut me.
When you stop and think.
That one just cut me.
Yes. Jeez. 27 years old.
No.
I guarantee you, the majority of the people listening right now, you were not born yet when Red version and Blue version came out. And that is just a blowing fact for me.
Were you guys a Blue or a Red version guy? I was a Blue
Red
version.
all the way. For one reason, there was a cool ass dragon on the front of it. And so that's all about dragons.
I like the cool turtle. That was me. What about you, Bauer?
I like turtles.
I actually wanted Blue because I like the color blue and the turtle looked cool. But my nephew wanted Blue and he ended up buying it. And that was actually a Game Boy Color and Pokemon Red were the very first console and game that I ever bought myself with my own money that I earned. And so we had to get separate. We knew that if you had to have both to get all 150. So we both bought our own. He bought Blue and I bought Red, and we got that cable to connect them. Yeah, the link cable.
Yeah.
Yep. So I got Red, and you know what? I don't regret that, actually. I mean, I like Squirtle better than Charmander, but can you really go wrong with either of those? I mean, they were the first, but can you go wrong with either of those choices?
As long as we can agree that Venusaur, get out of here. Bulbasaur is legit. I will give it to Bulbasaur.
Okay.
But Venusaur is just a really pimply, ugly version of Bulbasaur.
Okay.
He did not get cooler. He got uglier.
You had me in the first half, and then you redeemed yourself when you said Bulbasaur's okay, and I went, all right, we're okay. We're on good terms.
I'm Bulbasaur. He is number one. Number one in the Pokedex. That's right.
Good.
Look at kids.
Bulbasaur is the best.
Heart.
Mm-hmm. Number one in hearts. Finally, my last game age that just blows my mind. Legend of Zelda. A game, again, very topical. About the time when this airs, actually, we will be getting ready to be playing Tears of the Kingdom. What? Excited about that one. You know when Legend of Zelda, the very first game, came out? 37 years ago.
It's older than us.
The first Legend of Zelda right now.
All right, sorry, not
I was a baby.
You know what the first Legend of Zelda is doing right now? He's talking to his tax advisor about how's his retirement account going right now. He's worrying about his mortgage. He's trying to figure out how he's going to go and support his kids going to college. That's what the first Legend of Zelda is doing right now. The Legend of Zelda is an old man. It's even more boomer than me. Yes, and that is what makes me feel old.
By the way, we are all technically millennials. We just make the boomer and zoomer joke until it's funnier.
If
We
we want
are
to get really,
millennials.
if we want to get really technical, this is like one of my favorite terms I've ever seen, and I'm like, look, I don't care if it's made up, I love it. We are boomer millennial. No, yeah, boomer millennials.
Elder
No,
millennials?
elder millennials. That's the one. And I was like, they're just making stuff up, and then apparently that's a term, and I'm like, so we're just old. We're old millennials, is what you're telling me.
Yeah,
All right.
we're old to pretty much everyone, and the boomers just hate everyone.
We're not boomers, right? So we're okay. Regardless. But oh man. Yeah, so you went it's funny because you brought all that stuff up, and I actually have a second game as well that I was thinking of, and it kind of goes along with one of the games you just said. Same type of deal. But I'll let Matt go with his second.
Yeah, it's my second and my last one. And for those that are not watching, my cat just was climbing and clawing at me, and my shoulder might be bleeding. But we're gonna power through this because I'm a gamer. So, fart night, as I like to refer to it, because that makes me laugh, and I'm a child at heart, was a universal answer for oldness. The other one, I feel old because of how angry I make. So on my arm, you can kind of see it if you're watching the video. I have a Smash Brothers tattoo. I have a Smash Brothers logo on my left arm here because I love Smash Brothers. I've been playing since the N64, the GameCube with the very, very superior melee. And then we took the big step backwards with Brawl on the Wii. And then the Wii U version, believe it or not, is my favorite version. But friggin' Smash Ultimate makes me feel old. And here's why it makes me feel old. I was always the best at this game. No one in my friend group could touch me. There was some kind of back and forth with a few. No, Scott, no.
No.
Not even close.
It was annoying. It was like obnoxious. It would be like, I don't want to play with Matt because he's gonna win.
Yeah.
Unless he decided to throw the game.
Or just goof around, Anywho, hey, we should play Smash sometime. So I historically was better than everyone in my friend group. And what Ultimate brought, albeit not the best, it brought a really decent online. And the Wii U had an actual solid Smash Brothers online as well, which I did pretty well on. Something in Ultimate, maybe it's me, maybe it's the game, who the heck knows. I started losing at this game online a lot. And I'm not really that competitive in a lot of things, but Smash Brothers was that thing because essentially my entire gimmick, my entire life growing up was Smash Brothers. Even when I was working for a church, essentially a junior high pastor, I made sure we had a GameCube there with Melee because one of the outreaches I had is when a bunch of kids were there, I would find the gamers like, this kid's a gamer. Kid, Smash Brothers. She'd be like, yes. I'm like, I will beat you. And they're like, what? Challenge accepted. And then I just go kick their butt at Smash Brothers all day. It was beautiful. But now we're playing freaking Smash Ultimate where I am likely getting my butt kicked by 10, 15-year-olds, these kids that are younger than me, and it makes me so mad. And I'm like,
the kicker has become the kicky.
It is getting kicked hard. And I have had to take multiple breaks. One of my ongoing gags is like Smash Brothers and I are not on speaking terms at the moment. We're taking a break. And then I come back. I'm like, all right, Smash, let's do it. And then I play online and then I get destroyed. And I just get so angry. So maybe it's a lack of skill. I don't know, but it legitimately makes me feel old that when I play online, I used to win, even like online, I'd win like 75% of the time. Now I'm like at best like 50-50. And I get so freaking mad. That game makes me feel old because everyone is picking up this game that's younger than me and beating me at it. And I want to run my head into a wall. That game makes me feel old. There you go. I'm going to drink this liquid death and feel sad.
I have a theory about why that happened. The three of us have played Ultimate together, and we do need to do that again. Yeah. We played that together, and we had a grand old time. You didn't dominate us, but you still won. And it was fun. It felt like we were having a good time. I think that with the wild, because think about it, as much as the N64, everybody looks back fondly on it, it didn't sell like gangbusters, right? Like it sold, but it didn't sell like, oh my goodness. The GameCube definitely didn't sell that much. The Wii sold more for the casual crowd, right? So the Switch's success is like the perfect amalgamation of just enough casual, just enough like longtime gamers, and just enough new gamers, right? It's this. There's a reason it's over like 120 million, or it's like approaching big numbers, like top ranks of consoles ever sold. So I think a lot more people got Ultimate than got the Wii U version. They got that, and because there's so many people that are so much better at games than we are, we just go, yeah, because
Yes.
you go like you. I guarantee you, I know what you're thinking because I do this with other games. I'm like, I know what I want to do, I know what I
Mhm.
need to do. I tell my body to do it, and it doesn't happen,
Yes. That
or
is
they do it before I
exactly
do
it.
it.
It is exactly it, and I could, like, nitpick a bit more that I think the game is a little too spammy with overly safe moves without punishment, but I won't digress into that. But I think another point into that, because that's exactly how I feel, Mike. Like, I'm like, "All right, he's gonna do this, I need to short hop and do that." I'm like, "Why are you not short hopping, Ganondorf? Why are you jumping so high? I told you to tilt. Why are you doing your smash attack? Ganondorf, stop. This is not what I want you to do. This happens all the time now." Ganondorf main, obviously, respect. And one thing that I think about all the time is like, you know what? I think kids are gaming at a much younger age than I ever did, and it's a lot more accepting than it used to be. One of the weirdest things, like I was insulted once as a kid. It was an attempted insult against me, and I thought it was the stupidest insult in the world. But the person that said it genuinely meant it as an insult. Like we were outside and I did something or he did something. He's like, Matt, go play your video games. And I was like, yes, I will. And I don't know if you guys really had it, but there was still a little stigma back there about like, no, you should be playing sports, you should be more physical. And I'm just like, nah, I want to play games.
Being a
So that
38, a soon to be 38-year-old man,
yeah,
recent years, I've had adults say, not that much older than me, and I'd have my Switch or something, or Steam, like I'd have something with me, and they'd be like, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's this. I'm just playing a game while I wait." And they
they
just
give you
give
the
me that
face.
look, and I'm like, I just want to look at them and just say, "Go, go suck a brick, man.
Yeah,
Suck brick, kid."
eat some rocks.
Yeah, like I don't know, man. It bothers me. So yes, it's still around. It's so funny because it's still around, and I always see these hot take Twitter posts and social media posts on Instagram, on everywhere, where they're like, "How you gonna make money if you play games? You think you're an adult playing games? LOL." And I'm like, you watch movies, you read books,
Yeah.
you do these things. Shut the hell up. Just shut up. They're doing it just for to troll.
It's the stigma that life needs to be ABC, but life at this point is XYZ, the color purple, yellow, the number 7. Like that's what it is. Everything is subjective and people can enjoy things as long as they're not hurting other people. But I guess I'm glad you empathize with me on that. But two, I think the point I'm trying to make is kids are playing games at a much younger rate. And most us back in the day, like I actually refused to look up really help or assistance for most games. I still do for the most part, especially when it comes to fighting games. I'm like, listen, I don't want to know the meta. I just want to figure it out. I just want to play the game. But nowadays, it's so common to be like, I'm going to play this fighting game, and now I'm going to look up the best characters and the best combos in each situation. And I'm just like, I just want to play the game. So that could be a separate topic. How dedicated people are getting to like wanting to win. Where you, Scott, and I were probably like, I'm just playing TF2 and dancing on top of my dispenser as the engineer, and I'm winning. Cool. Like I'm not doing the meta strat. But that's probably one reason I think I lose is people are actually willing to try, if you will. And that's unfortunately how I live most of my life. It's like, wait, I got to try. I'm out, guys. But now I'm hitting an area in gaming. I'm like, oh crap, I do have to try. They're
All
all
right, I'll
beating me.
take
I don't
ice.
want to.
I know how to fix this all. You know who has the right idea? The Chinese Communist Party.
Oh my gosh.
You limit those kids. You go give them that 4 hours a week limit on playing games. Go catch up and get the edge on them. You know why Xi Jinping probably did that? Because he was getting tired getting his ass kicked in Counter Strike. Like, you know what? Hey, communist bros, we're gonna have to put these Zoomers in their place. I got you, bro. I know what you're up to. You know what?
It all makes sense now.
It all makes sense.
It all makes sense. I had a
Beautiful.
point and I completely lost that point because that just amused me to no end. Good job, Scott. That got
Wake
me.
up, sheeple. Wake up, sheeple.
By the way, do we have a rant tonight?
You do have a rant tonight.
Okay, good.
Oh man.
Okay, good. Because I was like, man, that was almost rant worthy right
That was
there.
very ranty. I had to like take it back a bit.
Oh my goodness, man. Yeah,
So we're old now.
Oh, I remember what I was gonna say. I have a confession to make as well.
I actually got a confession to make.
Oh, that makes me feel old too. When you said that people at your work were like, Foo Fighters is a dad band. I felt like I was like standing at the window and it was rain outside and I was just going, and a single tear dropped down my face.
But are they wrong though?
Shut up. Like, we're not talking. We're talking about video games here. We're not talking about bands.
Like Van Halen's an old man band. Foo Fighters is our generation's Van Halen,
which is an old man band. Yes, and I hate that. I hate that so much. I do try in these games, in certain games. I despise going to the meta. Right. I'm like you. I'm just like, I want to play a game and have fun and then learn strategies on my own. Like we used to, like in TF2, where we would figure out these ways to troll people and then go, that was actually a pretty good way to like actually play the game and beat it. People going straight to meta and they're like, oh, well, the meta is if you go here and do this and do that thing and then that. I'm like, I just want to play the game and have fun. That's what I want to do. And I do want to try. And I do try. Smash Brothers. I still love Smash Ultimate, so I don't feel old playing that one.
I will go to my in-laws' house, so my wife's family essentially, and we will play Smash Brothers. And the oldest son, I think he's about to be 16, if he's not 16 already, I forget because I'm a terrible uncle. He has gotten better like every single year at Smash Brothers, and he always wants to play me. I'm like, yes, play me. And then we'll be playing sometimes. I'm like, hang on, this kid might win. What? And he's not like the meta or anything. He's just a gamer like me. But I love playing with him. I also love playing, like, the older I get, the less I want to be like, Final Destination, no items, sudden death, whatever it is. I'm like, you know what? I would like to play with items. And here's a side tangent. Hey, Nintendo, your Smash Brothers Online is atrocious, and I hate it. Maybe I want to play with more than one person without lag. Maybe I want to play with items without lag. You should have fixed that. Maybe you should fix that now. Back to the story. The game's still fun, and playing it with a much younger generation, oddly enough, it does make me feel old, but in that situation, it makes me feel old in a good way, because it's kind of like similar with you and your kids playing, like we talked about last week, some like games that you grew up playing, like Super Mario World. I'm like, oh man, this guy, I'm more than double his age, and he's playing Smash Brothers and loving it. And I played Smash Brothers, and now we're playing Smash Brothers, and I'm still winning. I'm still kicking his butt, but at least it's fun. So sometimes feeling old is like, look at you playing Smash Brothers. How neat. Maybe my mood will change when he starts consistently beating me. Then I might have to like throw him through a wall or something.
I could just see you sitting there and you got your can. You're like throwing stuff just at him, like
belting it at him. Yeah.
I won. It's funny that you mentioned that, because my kids are like earlier tonight. My oldest son, James, he has his friends at school. And one of his friends, so I had tried to get him to like, oh, you should, and I know his uncle did, like, oh, you should play these N64 games, play these Game Boy Advance games, because we have the family plan for the expansion pack and all that stuff. So I'm like, you should play these games. They're great. We should play them. And he played them for a little bit, and then he's done. Well, his friend was like, hey, we should play GoldenEye.
Oh.
And I'm like, James, you should, man, because I told you should play that game. It's really good. It's fun. It's takes a little getting used to. And then, no joke, as I'm making dinner tonight, he's back there, just he's sucked into playing GoldenEye online with his friend. And
love it.
I walk back there, I'm like, hey, bud, it's time. I felt bad at saying, it's time for dinner, come on out, let's go eat, because we were all eating at the table. I felt bad because I saw it, and I saw his screen, and him and his friend, it was a split screen, so it was like the old school, so they're like playing on their Switch. I'm like, this is so cool, and they were playing, having fun.
Yeah.
but I also felt old.
That was a hard story.
That wasn't my example. That literally happened like an hour ago. Then I was like, oh my goodness, this is cool, but also that came out a long time ago.
But you know what's funny though? Like we see stuff like that, but then we also, at least our generation, does embrace new technology in ways. So like if you had told me like 10 years ago, like Matt, one, you're gonna feel old playing Smash Brothers. I'm like, all right. Two, you're gonna talk about how you feel old in Smash Brothers into a fancy microphone, into a fancy camera with your friends across different parts of the country about video games to be put on YouTube. And I'd be like, what? No, no. And here we are doing that. So we feel old, but at least we embrace it. That's one thing I am amused with our generation is we essentially had like before like mass cell phones, before smartphones, before we had 24/7 internet like connectivity. And then we have embraced it. And then we have like older folks, the boomers, that we are perpetually helping them with technology. At least I have in the workplace, drives me nuts. But then you have all these younger kids that are like doing all this stuff that's just like second nature to them. And I'm just like, so eventually a generation, like they're instead of like with English and math and history, there's going to be a coding class, an HTML class. And I'm going to be like, oh, I'm going to be the old guy. Like, how do I do this? And that's just a weird feeling. But I think
Matt, but we're already in that age.
I didn't need you to confirm that for me. Let me live in.
I wasn't going to say it because I was feeling it already.
They have already begun. Like I work with a lot of kids who are just fresh out of high school and college, you know, in the area I'm at. They're like basically the main source of labor. And they are coming out of high school knowing infinitely more than I knew about technology coming out of high school. They know 5 times more about technology currently than I do, being like almost twice as old as them. Like, it's pretty crazy how far ahead the new generation is on that. So,
yeah. So I think we only have a few minutes before we have to cut this. My example, I actually have 2 examples. One of them is just a quick example. I felt old playing the Dead Space remake.
Oh,
because
really?
It's wonderful and fantastic. And I thought, man, it's so good. I've played that game so many times on my PC, 360, on various platforms. I love that game so much. And then when I played it, I beat it. I literally have one more trophy to get on it, and then I platinum the thing, and it's just playing on the hardest difficulty, impossible. And I sat down and I thought, man, this game has aged very well. Wait, what am I talking about? It's not that old. Aged? This is a fine wine. And then I realized what year it came out. That game is damn near 15 years old.
Oh, man.
I remember when it came out brand new. And I felt the way, like when a brand new game that I'm really excited about now comes out. Don't like that. But the thing that I really want to talk about and end it for me is you guys were touching. It's so cool that you were touching on like how kids now, like the next generation, they come out of high school and they know so much more than we ever did with technology, and they understand the core principles of it way more than we ever did. And we thought we were super into it and we were on top of things. At least I did. My youngest son, Ben. So they both play Roblox, which that's a whole other thing that makes me feel old. They get off my lawn kind of old. But you can make games. There's a creator. It's free creator. You make it. So he has like a hand-me-down laptop from my oldest son from the pandemic when that whole thing happened. So it's not very powerful. But he can run Roblox on it. And he's like, I want to build. And I said, Ben, I can try to help you. I don't know much about this. How to build the levels and do stuff, So you got to just kind of look and try and trial and error, do your best at reading. He's gotten better at reading. So he's like, okay. So I, leave. I'm doing stuff around the house, fully expecting, him to just have given up and move on. I go back there and he's got a freaking level built. My point is he's building levels in games, and I was barely getting by in Mario Brothers at his age. barely getting by with the help of my mom. And he's building freaking levels in a game, in a giant online multiplayer game. And I thought, wow, what this must have been what my dad felt like when the internet happened. And I was like, I know so much about the internet, you don't. Like,
Yeah.
it blows me away, the generational gap there.
I really hope that the line though between the Zoomers and us is not as drastic as it is between us and the Boomers. Because
I don't think it will. Well, I'm sure our parents said this too, but I
oh,
don't think
man.
it is or it will be because of that one thing that you said. And this is, I feel like I'm generalizing here. I'm not. I'm trying not to. But we're more open to these new concepts and ideas because we grew up with that, right?
Yeah.
Whereas technology was still really in its infancy, like when we were growing up in our parents' era, and even more so before then. So I think that we are starting at a different foundational level. So I don't think it's ever going to be that big of a drastic difference. But I also hope that I'm right too.
As long as there's not close to equivalent of what my mom does to me every time I see her. I see her maybe once every 2 months, but every time I see her, she has a new piece of hardware that she needs to pair to her phone. And every single time, the first thing she does is like hug me and give me this new technology to pair to her phone. And it's always knockoff technology, like knockoff, like Fitbits, knockoff Apple Pods. And like I look at the back, it's all in Chinese. I'm like, where'd you get this? It was a Facebook ad. I'm like,
Oh, Facebook ad. Oh.
so I'm always pairing these questionable devices to her phone. I'm like, all right, here we go.
Yeah. We rename ourselves, but become quadruple B. Boomer Buds, Bustin' Balls. Then we can start picking up on that boomer demographic.
Then we would be squared in that situation.
Yes.
We got the bears. We got the boomers. We got the zoomers.
We're just opening our arms wider and wider for that hug, right?
But only our arms.
Only the arms.
Only the arms.
Unless you subscribe to my Patreon.
Fun fact. I know that's a good transition. Fun fact. Today, while I'm working, I checked a couple emails on my phone, and I get 2, and they were if they weren't legit, I am legitimately impressed with the phishing attempt here. 2 confirmations to confirm my new OnlyFans account. And I kid you not, I messaged my wife because she made a joke before. She's like, you should make an OnlyFans, and it's like you just putting stuff through your beard. And I was like, what? She's like, you'd be amazed at how many people would probably sign up and like pay you money to be like, put a fork through that beard.
Listen, if we're gonna get Scott's butt tattooed with a Fortnite ink, I'm on board for this idea here. Let's do it.
Oh no, do you
So you have to go all the way though. You have to have one where you're putting like mud in your beard and you're just kind of like cleaning mud out of your beard.
All right.
Some
honey.
Get some honey up in there.
Okay, I'll make a more realistic.
That's very realistic, Mike.
I'll make a more realistic goal then. Okay. If we can get, and I'll say maybe, let's say till the end of the year. Okay, so that's a good chunk of time. If we can get to 150,000 subscribers by the end of the year, that's a lot, but that is not unheard of. That is not a million. That will not happen ever, as much as I'd want it to. If we can get to 150,000 by the end of the year, I will make an OnlyFans account where I put stuff through my beard.
So I'm going to finally subscribe to this podcast now. You got
Scott was on the edge. He's like, listen, I know the staff. I'm one of them.
And maybe I'll make it like, I won't say what my name is. I won't tell people when I'm going to do it. I'm just going to put myself out there, and it'll literally always just be like, this, and just like different, like, I don't have anything to take, like, oh, look at this microphone, and then just be like,
oh yeah.
Gosh. I hate everything that's happening right now. I'm gonna unsubscribe to this podcast.
Mike, your username will totally have to be Beard Slut.
I guarantee that's taken, but I'd like to see you fight over it.
Does the beard match the carpet?
We'll be back in one moment.
I almost Ted Lasso'd by bubbling water all over the microphone. You killed Scott. You straight up turned off his camera with that one.
Oh, that'll be my catchphrase.
All
That'll
right,
be my description. Oh, goodness.
Scott had to like shake that one off. Like, it's funny. Scott likes to think he's like kind of like edgy and raunchy and stuff. But sometimes someone hits him and he's like, guys, I need a moment. I just need a moment, please.
Turns
I
off
can't
cam.
comprehend.
Hold on. Oh man, that one I said it, and as I was saying it, I was like,
do you feel a little heavier, maybe lighter after that one?
I don't know how I feel after that one. I feel very confused.
Probably a little lighter. Your soul feels a little less intact.
That was good.
I mean, I think we all want to know. Does it?
You'll have to wait, and you'll have to
150,000 subscribers.
You'll have to subscribe, and then maybe that answer.
Okay, we need to publish this. We need to publish the different tier rewards for subscribers. So we got Scott Fortniting. We got
Scotter?
Mike. We got Mike with his beard, fans only.
Well, you gotta adjust instead of okay. How about the tattoo stays at 1 million?
100 is doable.
But let's say if we get to 100,000, you have to play Fortnite. Your platform of choice, but you have to play Fortnite if we get to 100,000. And let's say by the end of the year, that's a good chunk of time.
I like how we went from 100, me playing Fortnite for 100, now we're at 100,000. It's like sold. Okay.
But we're also going to the end of the year. And that's how you get people, right? So, we got to get Scott. We got to get Scott. Well, if we only get 50,000 more, we get a beard OnlyFans.
It's like a twofer.
Yeah, so now we got to think of one for Matt.
Two guys.
He's going to be our top tier.
I don't know what to offer for this one.
Matt's going to be on top.
I'll dye my mustache. I don't know.
Matt will release a digital calendar of just poses of himself for every month.
They're going to be NFTs. I'm just going to make an NFT. Matt.
NFT calendar.
Mustache NFTs.
A sexy fire Matt calendar.
Oh my gosh.
You'll be dressed as different characters from Smash Brothers, posing provocatively.
I'm in. I'm down. Let's go. Let's do it.
Everybody's like, no, we're not going to go for that tier. Everybody's going to go for the Fortnite tier because that's an easy one.
No, maybe I'll just do it for free. We'll find out. We'll see what happens.
By the end of the year.
Kirby month. They'll come to the Kirby month. Like,
that's going to be your Christmas.
Wait a minute. Matt's not Kirby. He's not wearing anything at all. Oh.
It's just him balled up, like with his knees up to his chest. He's going.
That's his natural shade.
Yeah, this is all spray on pasty white. I am definitely very pink.
Oh man, this is a games podcast. So let's get back on. Let's get back on top of it.
Oh.
My kids are there screaming. It sounds like they're playing GoldenEye again.
Maybe your kids heard you. They're like, "Who is our father?
Please,
what's happening?
Please don't subscribe. Please don't." All right. So this second topic. Well, okay. Before I reveal what it is, do we want to do the first thing we talked about today, or the "Let me tell you about our Lord and Savior" topic? If that makes sense. I'm trying to speak in code here. So the first topic that exposed Scott's poor choices, or the second topic about have you heard the good news?
Let's do the second one because Matt doesn't really have anything for the first one. He doesn't want to be me in the previous conversation about having no Fortnite experience. I don't want him to be marginalized like I was.
Okay.
He feels marginalized. You know, you could fix that just by playing Fortnite.
No.
Confirmed he likes to be marginalized.
Give me no Fortnite or give me death. Just like the founding fathers envisioned it.
Okay.
You know what? I bet George Washington would enjoy some Fortnite.
Oh no, that was like part of the rebellion. The British were trying to peer pressure him into playing Fortnite, and he's like, you know what, guys, revolt.
I was gonna say
So-
Paul Revere probably was really a Fortnite fan.
The Zoomers are coming. The Zoomers are coming.
They're not taking our jobs. They're just standing on our lawns doing funky dances. Hey, let's talk about the Nintendo Wii U. Which, by the way, to this day, I cannot just like when I see the Wii U like written out, anyone says it, my first thought is always like, Wii U.
Correct
Like,
answer is
about
Buddy
that.
Holly.
That
Weezer.
too.
Oh yeah, that
That's
too.
how I read it.
Wii U.
What a stupid name, by the way.
Buddy Holly? How dare you?
No. The Wii U.
Oh, okay,
He got
yeah.
really offended.
Scott was about to come to Indiana and throw down. Let's go. Wii U is a stupid name, but Mike, I'll let you run with it because you probably have it written down in front of you. We're going to talk about the Wii U. aren't
Yes.
we?
So the Wii U.
Wii U.
So I was thinking about this a while back because nostalgia for these older consoles. So like the N64, right? Like I've been playing N64 games on Nintendo Switch Online, and they're fine. Some of them are not fine. I feel like they're being very selective with the games they put on there because those games did not age well. Okay, that whole period, just the early 3D platformers for the most part didn't age well. But it's looked at the N64 is looked at so fondly, but like nobody bought it back in the day, but everybody loves it now. The Dreamcast, like that was the downfall of Sega making consoles, and everybody looks back on the Dreamcast extremely fondly, but nobody bought it. The PlayStation Vita, everybody's like that. The Vita is great. It's wonderful. It's fantastic. Nobody bought it and it failed, and Sony was like, nah, we're done. We're done making handheld stuff. And it makes me think, will the Wii U... See, like, I feel like some consoles, like the Xbox One VCR, that's not going to be looked at fondly in the future. 360 will be looked at fondly in the future. It's always been looked at fondly. But the Wii U was like a social pariah, like when it came out. Really good software, not good hardware, and a really stupid name, as was already previously said.
Such a
Stupid name. All around. Stupid branding, stupid name, stupid market, everything. Do you think that the Wii U in 10, 15 years, people will be looking back and be like, you know what, man? This was a cool concept and a cool idea. And the software on this thing was pretty darn nifty. And I don't think anybody will disagree that the Wii U failed so that the Switch could just fly into the future.
So the question is, will the Wii U be looked upon fondly, or even in like the scope of like changing the game a little bit for gaming? And I genuinely think the answer is no. And I say that having been one of the few people that genuinely loved the Nintendo Wii U. I enjoy the Wii U more than the Nintendo Wii. The Wii eventually made me mad. One, because it made the worst Smash Brothers game ever. But two, it just became shovelware. Wii U basically was like, okay, you're making a step in the right direction. You're going to get focused on games again, while, of course, maintaining your casual audience, not as well as the Switch did, of course. But what it brought to the table from a hardware standpoint, I just don't think there's really anything there except for the fact that it had that screen, which was the predecessor to the Nintendo Switch. Because the Wii U is like a tease. It's like, hey, what if you can play in handheld, but you have like really bad battery and you can't be more than like 3 feet away from your system, like your core system. Because the Wii U was like this white, ugly looking, like Fisher Price toy looking console with like baby's first iPad as like an actual like controller as well. And they're just so awkward, but they had to be close to each other to even remotely play in handheld mode. And what I used to do is like stretch my Wii U like halfway through my living room so I could pick it up in my office just around the corner so I could just play in there like while I'm working or whatever. It was such a pain in the butt. Like there's the stuff that should have been cool that just wasn't. I will spend some time after you guys say your bit talking about the games, because the games, of course, is what ultimately made me enjoy it so much. That it was the first system I actually started streaming on Twitch with, which I have a lot of great memories on. But from a hardware perspective, even though I enjoyed it more than the Wii, because the Wii graphically was bad, the Wii U graphically was also bad, but at least slightly better, I guess.
It was HD bad.
Yeah, it was HD bad. Like, it was HD, but like, yeah, should it have been though? But no, I don't think it's going to be looked that fondly upon, even though we currently are playing a lot of the games that dropped on it, like Mario Kart 8 and 3D World. We'll talk about that in a sec, I'm sure.
Hey, let me ask you, how much has
Yeah,
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe sold
a
on the Switch?
bazillion dollars worth.
It's probably like the only rival to Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah,
For whatever reason.
it's a good game, and it came out on the Wii U.
They don't need to make another Mario Kart. They could literally just keep adding stuff like they have been, and
True.
just do that, and then repackage it for the next console and
Yeah.
say, "Hey, here's Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with all of the stuff that you had to buy before included in, and we'll do another pack that you got to buy."
Yep.
That's all they need to do.
They did their bit. My last little hit on the hardware is it had internet. You could play video games online. And I thought Mario Kart actually worked pretty well. Smash Brothers was kind of hit and miss. But it let you buy this like adapter to get like a physical Ethernet connection into it, because by default it was Wi-Fi only. And I feel I have more issues on this Smash Brothers on the Switch than I did on the Wii U personally. But from a hardware perspective, it brought nothing remotely new to the table except for that ugly little tablet that you could play games on. But there were some good games. So my answer is no, it will not be looked fondly upon, other than the Switch eventually came after.
All right. The further break, Mike's heart. My answer is also no. That's going to be a no for me, dog. And it's actually kind of interesting because Max slightly touched on the reason I don't think it'll be the case. So I think the big one people compare the Wii U to is the Dreamcast. And I think there's a fundamental difference between the two. And that is a lot of these very treasured games on the Dreamcast have not been ported to other systems. So you got Power Stone, you got, I don't know, I never owned the Dreamcast, but I know there's a lot of games on there. Opposed to the Wii U. So did it have good software? Yes and no. Yes, while it did have good software, the problem is so much of it you can now play on other consoles or on the Switch or whatnot. Like, one thing that blew my mind, so I did own a Wii U, and I only played one game on it, and that was Breath of the Wild. Yes, Breath of the Wild on Wii U. A lot of people forget that that game was actually originally in development for the Wii U, and Nintendo was just kind of like, you know what, that's just kind of
failed so badly. They were like,
yeah. And that would have been very sad. Can you imagine how the course of video game history would have changed if Nintendo just went through with like making Breath of the Wild come out the original time, not delay it, and it was just a Wii U exclusive, and maybe the five people who owned the Wii U.
Switch would not be here. The Switch would not be where it's at today if it didn't launch with Breath of the Wild the way it did.
So that's a great example. That's a Wii U game that is basically known as like the definitive Switch game. And a lot of these games you guys are talking about were either ported to the Switch or had sequels made that were superior than the Wii U versions. So there isn't going to be anything 10 years from now, in my opinion, where somebody's like, you know what was a great Wii U game and I wish I had the Wii U to play? Mario Kart or Breath of the Wild. No, because you'll have so many better options at that point of other consoles, other ways to play it, which is really not the case for a lot of these Dreamcast games. Or like for me, I would like to eventually start streaming Sega Saturn games. And the primary reason for that, it had so many amazing exclusives that you can't play anywhere else. Now, if I was able to go and just subscribe to Sega Online and they had a whole library of all these Sega Saturn games, it's like, forget it. Cool, I'm just going to go and play it on here. Forget playing it originally on the Sega Saturn. And I think that's the big difference is, like Matt said, hardware was unremarkable. Yes, it had great software that is not even really exclusive at this point.
Okay. So you guys will be surprised to hear this. I actually agree with you. I actually changed to no.
Nice.
But before I go to the reason why I say no, which it's already actually been talked about, I want to play the devil's advocate here and explain why I originally thought, yes, I think it will be. yes, the software is key thing, right? And that's why the Dreamcast, the Dreamcast had a lot of stuff that didn't make sense, but it was cool. But what sold it was like was said, the games, those special games. And at the time, I think that if the Wii U had succeeded, I don't know if those games would have been ported to the Switch because they would have sold enough and they would have been like, yeah, and Nintendo didn't really do that stuff. I think they did that because they went, well, we already made this game, nobody bought it, so let's port it on over, right? But one of the key, so there are still key things on the Wii U that are still stuck on the Wii U, and it's looking like they will never leave. Some of them being uh Xenoblade Chronicles X. I wasn't super huge fan of that game, but I still admire it, and I have an affinity for it. It's there's something about it that I'm drawn to, and I really would like it to come to Switch. Okay, I don't know if it ever will. But aside from those games, there are two other there's really one other factor. Even with games that are on other platforms, and it's a similar, not a similar kind of gimmick, but it's the reason why like I love this. A lot of the time I'll buy a game on this if it performs well. If you can give me 30 frames per second, a good 30 frames per second, I'm fine. I'm fine with this. Because I can play this the way it is right there. I can play it portable. And I get console quality in a little portable thing, right? That's why I got a Steam Deck. I love that I can do that. And that's me, apparently a lot of people in the world. That's the gimmick that draws you into it and it will be remembered fondly. The Wii U's gimmick was that little gamepad, the baby's first gamepad, okay? When it was used properly, it it's okay. So I'm going to bring up two games. Affordable Space Adventures. It's an indie game that if you have a Wii U, please download it before by the time this airs, the eShop's closed, unfortunately. I'm pretty certain.
Suck brick, kid.
Yeah, so suck brick, I guess. Affordable Space Adventures. You use the gamepad and you played with other people and you had a ship on the screen and it was like you had to use the gamepad but then work with other people we use the Wii controllers, which was also a stupid thing because people were so confused with the Wii U already. But you work together and you all have to control this ship and work together like physically, like verbally, like no, you got to go up. Okay, I'm going to go this, do that. Okay, we got it. To get through levels and navigate and do this stuff, it is such a cool experience that you can't get on other platforms. And it is stuck on the Wii U. It's not leaving. That kind of stuff, when it was done well, and then having the touch screen while you were on there and like doing that stuff, that's the stuff that made it shine. And I think like that's why I was thinking people will look back and go, that was, that sucked that it cost, what was it, $300? The $300 back in the day, but I got it for 50. And you know what? I think it's a little bit underrated now. The other thing was things like menus. Playing Deus Ex, I always forget which one it is. There's Mankind Divided and then the other one, Human Revolution. Whatever one was on the Wii U, I loved that game because the menus were there. Like, I'm playing the game and I don't have to pause or do, like, I could literally just be like, boof, and I switch. And it was just like, the map. I could bring up the map. I could write stuff on. I could do things with it so I could remember. It was so cool. The problem was that nobody did that. It was very few games that did that, and it made it so special. And I used to think that would be what made people look through the nostalgia glasses. You have something to say before I go into why I say no?
No, I'm just thinking about these games because I was going to wait for you to bring it up before to dive into the games because some of the games just use that gamepad so freaking cool.
Yes, and
so freaking cool.
And as much as we can talk about it here, you had to just experience it, right? And that draw is why I thought people would look back and go, okay, well, it wasn't a success, but it wasn't that bad. That's what I'm saying.
I'll save my bits for when we get into the games because there's a few games I have in mind that just used it so well.
Yes. So that was my argument for it. Okay. So that's my devil's advocate argument for it, is that the few that are very unique to, even from the ports, they use them in unique ways, like a game like The Wonderful 101, where yeah, you can buy that on any platform you want now. I played it again and it lost its magic. I've loved that game on the Wii U, played it on the Switch, and I was like, it's alright. But there was something about drawing the shapes and do it, like, it was the whole package. So I'll let you get more into the other games. But the reason that I changed my mind and went to, I don't think it will be looked at as bad. I just don't think it'll be remembered. So maybe my answer is not no or yes. It's just it's the cardinal sin of wrestling, the no reaction. Right? Because almost all of those games that really made it special got ported. And many times, like, look at Mario 3D World. Phenomenal game. We talked about that before. They ported it to Switch and added Bowser's Fury, which is freaking amazing. What version are you going to remember more?
Right.
Like, that had the extra. That's why people are just going to forget about the Wii U, I think. Unfortunately, which is sad in a way.
I won't disagree. I think the biggest highlight are going to be the games, which whenever you guys are ready, I got 2 games I definitely want to talk about. You might even have them locked and loaded as well. But it sounds like we're in agreement that at the bare minimum, Scott and I are like, it will not be remembered fondly. And you're just like, it existed. It was there. It was there. And now we have other stuff, which is pretty much, I think, the consensus of anyone. But where they thrive for sure is some of the games and the software and how they utilize the touchpad, which I'd love to talk about. Unless, Scott, you got any closing thoughts you want to add about it from a hardware perspective? Oh, gosh. he cleared his throat to say no.
He got
Perfect.
Us. He got us.
I want to talk about 2 games. And I'm probably going to steal your thunder on both of these, but I'll let you really run with it. But the 2 games that I think utilize that touchpad so well. One was, I think, Nintendo's first new IP at the time in like 14 years, I think it was. The very first Splatoon. I freaking loved that game. That game was phenomenal. And the way it used the touchpad is, again, for anyone that doesn't know how the Wii U was built, you had your system and your controller was literally a big giant tablet with like controller sticks and stuff on it. So like think of my phone here. You have this in front of you, but bigger. And you could have stuff on this bottom screen while looking at your main screen. And what Splatoon did is you could see the map. And this is a game that's based on painting the ground. Whoever covers the most ground essentially wins. You can look at the map in a quick second, instant. You have to push a button to like pop it up and kind of lose where you're going. You just look down real quick and you can just see how much of the map is covered, how much is there, how much is yours. And then they added some weapons and items that utilize that touchpad. So it's like, hey, I want to launch to where my teammate is over here. You just tap the touchpad, you launch to it. I have a certain special ability where I can basically drop an ink bomb anywhere in the map. I choose where I think would be the most strategic. So as soon as you die, you just look at the tab, you kind of follow the map along, you tap where you want to go. It was just so fluid and flawless to navigate. And now I find myself having skipped Splatoon 2, but now playing Splatoon 3, you can look at the map, but you hit a button and it just like pulls me away. It's not the same. And Splatoon 1 will forever have a fond place in my heart for several reasons. One is just unique. 2, it's fun. And 3, it was one of my first games that I streamed with my community. A lot of my old school followers were there during that. We always enjoyed those Splatoon streams, but it used that touchpad so well that the closest comparison I can make is like Nintendo DS sometimes kind of had the 2-screen thing going, but this was even better. And then the third game, and I think I'm going to let Mike run with talking about this game because he is the most passionate about it. I loved it too, but he is the most passionate about it. I freaking loved the port of Wind Waker. Zelda Wind Waker on the Wii U was phenomenal.
That was going to be my ace in the hole at the very end.
I'll let you run with it just for how they integrated that touchpad. Mike, tell me about Wind Waker on the Wii U.
So a little backstory. Until Breath of the Wild, Wind Waker was my favorite Zelda. From the very moment I set eyes on it. I knew nothing about that game. I missed the controversy of the graphics. I literally walked into, I've said this before, I walked into a game store and was like, I'm getting a GameCube today just because I want to get a GameCube and it's cheap. Metroid Prime, Wind Waker. Those look cool. I'll get them. And it blew me away. Freaking fantastic game. One of the best. If Breath of the Wild did not exist, that is the best Zelda game. You cannot convince me otherwise. Period. Okay, I'm sorry. That's the way it is. They not only fixed all of my little issues from the GameCube version and put that in the HD remaster on the Wii U. Everything with the menu and everything with the gamepad was so much better. It was so much better seeing the map on there. And then you could still, if I remember correctly, you were still able to put it up on the screen and do other stuff, but then you could switch back and forth. There were so many different things you could do with it that I tried playing the GameCube version after just to be like, well, did they really update that much? Does it make that much of a difference? And I couldn't play the GameCube version. It was hard for me to play it. And I went, nah, I'll just go replay the Wii U version again. And I'm one of those people. It's like, can you please just bring it to the Switch, please?
Right.
Please bring it to the Switch. You can sacrifice the gamepad, but that gamepad added a context to that game, and part of me thinks they will not bring it over because of that. They could bring over Twilight Princess. Twilight Princess was okay.
It was all right.
But it didn't do the same thing that Wind Waker did with the gamepad, with the Wii U hardware, and it legitimately, I think of two games that legitimately surprised people in how it looked and played. It was Mario Kart 8 and Wind Waker HD for the Wii U. Those were the two that I remember seeing people go, whoa, what is this? And so if Wind Waker HD does get stuck on the Wii U and they don't bring it to the Switch, I think the case for the Wii U looking fondly again comes back into play.
Which again is tied to the software, unfortunately.
And the usage of when they actually decided to wake up and go, oh, we should probably use the gamepad that we hinged our entire console on and made it weak for.
Right.
So I don't know. I feel like it'll be one of those in 10 years. It'll be one of those gimmick consoles that people are like, it was pretty cool actually. But I don't know, maybe people just no sell it.
I think we'll look back and be like, I enjoyed the memories and the games themselves, but from a hardware perspective, it kind of sucked. I have a question for Scott because he had a Wii U, literally only played Breath of the Wild. You eventually got Breath of the Wild on your Switch as well, didn't you?
I did, because I did sell the Wii U. Surprised I didn't want to keep around the console for one game. And I very quickly missed Breath of the Wild. And so then, yes, rebought it for the Switch to play. As a correction, there may have been, because I'm kind of remembering now this Wind Waker business you guys are talking about. So it is possible that I played Wind Waker on it as well. But at the very most, 2 games, Breath of the Wild and
both
Wind Waker.
Zelda games.
Both Zelda games. Spoilers, I'm a huge Zelda fanboy. I have beaten every console Zelda game outside of Skyward Sword, which is going to be the next game I start after I finish up Mass Effect 3.
Anyway, you've beaten the CDI Zelda? The Wand of Gamelon or whatever?
Every console, Nintendo.
Yeah. I'm getting you before the commenters get you.
Thank you. All the mainstream Zeldas. Anyhow, back to Matt's original question.
Well, my question was, how did you feel the difference was between the two systems? Because you played Breath of the Wild on both. Did you notice a dramatic difference between one that uses the gamepad versus one that doesn't?
So, even though I don't think the Wii U was a remarkable system at all, one thing I will have to give it, and it kind of lends itself to the things you guys are talking about, is the various motion control mechanics of Breath of the Wild did perform a lot better on the Wii U. You could tell that the Wii U tablet was the hardware that was designed for. Because it was. For years and years of development, it was intended to be a Wii U game. And even though the Switch has, motion controls and whatnot on it. It just didn't feel as good and as smooth and as like as intended as it did on the Wii U version. With that said, probably the most drastic difference was the graphics, and by no means is the Switch a graphics powerhouse. But I think one of the most, I think a lot of people can agree, the first moment where you're just kind of like, holy shit, playing Breath of the Wild is when you're in the beginning area. I forget what it's called, the plateau area. And then you just look off in the distance and you see Death Mountain, you see all the forests, you see some giant ass bird flying in the air. And you're like, holy crap. Too bad that's just like background stuff and I can't actually walk over there. You can. Literally all this cool stuff you can
Just
see.
go climb.
You can just fly off and you can
Yep.
go there. What is really sad is you don't have that experience on the Wii U. You look out in the distance and you just see a big smudgy blur. You can maybe go and see the closest province, whatever you want to say.
Town, I guess.
Area.
Like,
I know what you're talking about.
yeah, you can see the closest map area to where you're currently at, the one surrounding you. Anything further, though, was blurry. And I feel very sad for the one, like 5 people out there who only played Breath of the Wild on the Wii U and not the Switch, that they never got to experience like that holy shit feeling of like, the world is so open. Look at all these cool things everywhere that I can go and, mess around in. So that was the big thing that struck me. So yeah, it was a trade-off on, motion controls on a console that really wasn't designed for it. But yeah, graphically, it was a big leap forward, even for the Switch.
Interesting. I actually didn't really know the difference, so I'm glad that you actually were able to play both, and that is also a huge testament to how much you like that game, which is pretty neat as well. I did have a random, at least closing benefit that the Wii U had that a lot of modern consoles don't, at least directly, is it was purely 100% backwards compatible with both the Wii and GameCube. You could play a GameCube game on the Wii U, a Wii game, and a Wii U game, and I did several times. And they had ports that you can plug in your old GameCube controllers. The Wiimotes connected to it without much of a hassle. That was pretty cool. I mean, my answer is still no. I won't really think of the system fondly, but talking about it made me go like, there was some pretty cool stuff that
And
I could
that
play
right
my
there,
whole backlog. Yeah.
that's I don't see. So I guess maybe I should rephrase that question of maybe not fondly, but you look back and you go, it was not like you look back at the Dreamcast and go, man, that was great. You look back at the Wii U and you go, that wasn't as bad as people said it was. There's
You
a
know what?
difference there.
I will yield that. I am convinced. I will yield it. I will not say it's as bad as a lot of people said it was. I think it definitely is a black sheep of their consoles for sure. But I stand by it. I enjoyed it more than the Wii. Well, like the
Oh,
dust settled on both systems.
1,000,000%. Yeah.
I love the Wii U way more than the Wii as far as like what I got out of it. And a lot of it is just tied to like, again, it was a big streaming game for me with Mario Maker and Smash and Splatoon and Mario Kart.
That's another one I forgot about. Mario Maker 1 was phenomenal with the gamepad.
That
It
was a
came out on
blast.
the Switch. Mario Maker 2, it came and went like
Oh,
a fart in the wind
yeah,
because it was
because you
not the
could
same.
you could build with the tablet and like have it on the main screen, so you can like do all your stuff on the tablet.
Yes,
So
and the Switch, you could do that in handheld, but when you wanted to play on the TV, you had to use a controller,
yeah,
and it just was not the same.
yeah,
See, that's
man,
the kind of stuff that like, that's the better version of Mario Maker is the first one on the Wii U. I think a lot of people might agree with that too.
I would. I basically permanently lent my Mario Maker 2 copy to my nephew. It just lives there now. I don't touch it ever. But yeah, all right. I've enjoyed this conversation a lot because I was just like, oh, easy question. No. But now I'm like, man, there was a lot of rad stuff that was in that system. And it did ultimately lead to the Switch, which of course is one of the better consoles made, even though graphically I would definitely wish it had a better,
It's
more
coming. It's
current
coming.
gen. I hope so.
It's coming. It's just they're milking this. I mean, it's still, why would you stop? If the PS4 continued to sell
Yeah.
like the Switch is continuing to sell, Sony would not have released the PS5 yet. They would have been like, "Good, Xbox, go ahead and release your thing. We don't care." Like that's what they would have done. But it started to dip, so they went, "Okay." So I'm kind of hoping things dip this year. I'm kind of hoping like stop buying Switches, people. As much as I love it,
Yes.
stop. Buy something
Please.
else.
Give us the Switch 2. The Switch U.
Stop. Please don't even joke about that. Switch U. Oh man. All right. Well, those are some good topics. So closing comments. Matt?
Yeah. Wii U, I have a lot more fonder memories now that I've actually out loud verbally said it. Yes, it was a great console. I dug it quite a bit. And Fortnite makes me feel old, and Smash Brothers makes me feel angry old. There are my closing comments on what we talked about.
All right. My closing comments. Oh, my wife left. She just walked in here for a second, and I was going to talk about the OnlyFans subscriber goal while she was in here, and she'd just be like,
"You heard it here first, folks. Mike's wife has left him."
No, she's the one that came up with the idea.
She endorses it. She's the one
that's
camera,
like,
man.
she said you should do an OnlyFans and do stuff like just put stuff through your beard. So, hey, I'm gonna use that as my comment. Subscribe. Let us know. I want to see this guy play Fortnite. I also want to see him get a tattoo on his butt. As weird as it is saying that.
Same.
So you need to subscribe. You definitely want to see stuff going through my beard, so you should really subscribe. And then you definitely want to see Matt dressed up as Super Smash Brothers people.
Sexy Ganondorf.
In an official Triple B calendar that you can give out to your grandma for a Christmas present. Instead of a Christmas card, you send Matt completely butt naked as Kirby from Smash Brothers. I haven't
confirmed that's going to happen, but I will say this. Legit, grandmas love me. I'm just saying, they do. They do.
Okay, so we got to start thinking of a way to incorporate getting that crowd as well.
Yeah.
I'm okay with pandering, man. I have no
Boomers,
problem with
grandmas, bears, Zoomers. We are going for it, folks.
Everything. And with that, we're going for everything. Let's do some Scotty Porta Potty rant time. Go!
Look over there, he just doesn't care. He's going off on a crowd of people, throwing words in the air like he just don't care. He's yelling at all of us sheeple. It's a Scotty Porta Potty rant. It's a Scotty Porta Potty rant. It's a Scotty Porta Potty rant. It's rant time.
Remember when we said we were going for everything? There's one group we're not going for, and that is you, LaCroix drinkers. LaCroix is a bad drink, and you are bad people. Point exactly. You would be a LaCroix drinker, Mike. Let's start with the name, LaCroix. LaCroix, it's French. This is America, damn it. You give it an American name, you get this French bullshit out of my USA, land of the free, home of the brave. What was I ranting about again? LaCroix, that's right. You know what LaCroix reminds me of? I go to a restaurant. I go to the soda fountain. I get a cup full of Sprite. I just want a little Sprite. Nice, tasty Sprite. Drink it. No syrup in it whatsoever. It's just nasty-ass carbonated water. And that literally ruins my night. You guys are paying money for that experience. You're paying money for nasty-ass carbonated water. Really? You say, oh, well, it has flavor. Yeah, the flavor of a single little Skittle being dropped in a thing of water and then drinking it. It has more flavor when you smell it than when you drink it. So I just need to say, what is wrong with you? What the hell? Drink a real soda or drink water. Don't drink this half and half bullshit. Thank you. That is Scott's hot take. God bless America.
I don't have an argument, so.
I just like that Mike literally held up a can of LaCroix.
I mean, this is what I've been drinking all night.
Yeah, I mean, at least drink this liquid death like I am. This is the superior sparkling water. FYI.
Yeah, but how much does it cost?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
This
probably more.
Big money.
This is a lot cheaper.
You know what's even cheaper than that? Water.
Is it though? Here in California, is it?
Well, I don't know. I am currently looking at Noah's Ark's tier water right now and flooding everywhere. So I think, yeah, water it's pretty available at the moment.
I want your apartment to flood so bad right now. Just
That you
the
just look down and you
floodgates.
go, oh my gosh, I gotta stop, guys. I got water everywhere, and be like,
And then you can like pick it up and be like, hey, this tastes like the
Hey.
Croy.
Bad news for you, buddy. I live on the second floor, so you know what? Screw you, buddy, down there.
I'm gonna laugh at that guy if that person like somehow finds this podcast and he's like, that asshole, he's been talking about me.
You know what? Damn straight I have.
I wonder how it would feel when your butt gets tattooed.
He's gonna that person down below is gonna see this and be like, I'm gonna get all my friends to subscribe to this jerk.
2 million subscribers. 2 million subscribers, and the guy who lives down there can be the one to tattoo it.
Oh yes.
Record it again. All right. Man, we got some good tiers for you. Please share with everybody. Tell them to subscribe. I really want to see this happen. I could die happy knowing that this happened.
Yeah.
I think well, not Scott, but I think Matt and I could die happy.
That's all I need in life. Nothing else matters to me except Scott's butt being tattooed.
Now you get it. It's all about Scott's butt.
It always has been.
Truth. All right. Well, that's it. We're going to wrap it up. You can follow Celiac Matt, streams all sorts of times, all sorts of days, all throughout the week, and streams all sorts of games.
Yeah.
What games are you playing right now? What games are you streaming right now?
Sea of Thieves, Persona 5 Royale, Overwatch, Splatoon, and Marvel Snap.
Yep, Snap. We got Scott here, still TBD on his name, but the capture card is on its way, and I think the Sega Saturn's done or close to being done, so hopefully soon we'll get him on the streaming bandwagon. And I'm Bauer Tendo. I'm playing Monster Hunter, Splatoon 3, Fortnite, and currently Dark Souls 3 is making me very cranky. But I'm probably going to do another playthrough of Breath of the Wild before Tears of the Kingdom comes out, because why not? So that being said, appreciate you. Until next time, this is Triple B GameCast signing out. Bye.